The story begins in Kandahar, Afghanistan during the U.S. occupation of the country. We are shown an American convoy whose vehicle breaks down. A mechanical engineer named Sergeant 81 arrives to repair it. His brother is also in the convoy, and they are overjoyed to see each other after many days. Sergeant 81's brother says, "Remember, we wanted to become Army Rangers. We can still fulfill that dream." But Sergeant 81 feels that it is too late. Suddenly, the Taliban attacks them. During this attack, everyone except Sergeant 81 is killed. Sergeant 81's leg is badly injured. He rushes to his brother and lifts him onto his shoulder because he is still breathing. But before he can reach the hospital, his brother dies. After this incident, Sergeant 81 is awarded the Silver Star, and only then does he regain his senses. He is on a bus with other soldiers. He is actually going for Army Ranger training, just as his brother wanted. 2 years have passed since that incident, yet he still has not forgotten it. Soon, they arrive at a secret camp deep in the jungle where their training begins. This training is extremely rigorous. Sergeant 81 does not socialize much with anyone there, but he successfully completes the training tasks. However, he is now getting very little sleep. His senior officers want him to become a team leader, but he is not interested. Then they perform an exercise inside a pool where they must walk underwater while holding dumbbells. The one who stays underwater the longest completes the task. While walking underwater, Sergeant 81 remembers the moment when he carried his brother on his shoulders. His leg had been injured during that moment. He becomes so lost in his past memories that he stops breathing and faints underwater. The instructors quickly pull him out of the water and revive him. After this, his superiors call him to their office. While he is waiting outside, he sees news reports showing an asteroid in the sky heading toward Earth. Strange changes are taking place within it, as if it is breaking apart on its own, something scientists cannot explain. Soon, he is called inside the office, where his major and commander are present. They tell him that he should leave the training because he is suffering from PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. They explain that the human mind can enter this state after experiencing a major traumatic event. The major and commander suggest that he attend a counseling program so he can fully recover. For this reason, they say, he will have to leave the Rangers program and return home. But Sergeant 81 refuses. He says, "I do not want to leave this program at any cost." The commander replies, "I have never seen a candidate like you in my entire life, but you are an engineer. You know that every machine has a limit and yours has already been reached. So sign these papers and go back home." Sergeant 81 stands up and says, "I have to prepare for the parade." With this, he leaves the room, which engages both the major and the commander. The next day, we see that many Rangers have been expelled from the program because they failed to complete their tasks. But Sergeant 81 still joins the mission. The commander tells everyone that this is their final task. If they complete it, they will officially become Rangers. Everyone is overjoyed to hear this announcement. After that, they are taken to another location where the commander explains their mission. He tells them that the enemy has shot down one of their aircraft in the middle of the jungle. They will be dropped into the jungle and must reach the crashed aircraft. Their task is to destroy the aircraft so the enemy cannot recover it. He also tells them that their pilot is being held captive in a nearby village. They must rescue the pilot and safely bring him back to base. This is the mission assigned to them, and Sergeant 81 will lead the entire operation. Soon they are dropped into the middle of the jungle. They travel throughout the entire day. At night, while they are resting, a huge explosion suddenly occurs nearby. When they look up, they see burning embers rising in the sky. In reality, the object that crashed near them was the same asteroid that had been seen earlier in the sky. It is now breaking apart and falling to the ground in pieces. However, the soldiers believe that their commander discovered their resting location and that the explosion was meant to scare them during the mission. After that, they continue their mission during the night. The next morning, they reach the river where the crashed aircraft is located. Meanwhile, their radio has not been working since the previous night. Sergeant 81 tells his entire team that they must destroy the aircraft as quickly as possible. At that moment, he notices something glowing deep in the jungle. He tells his team to move toward the aircraft and plant the explosives, saying, "I will go and check that glowing object and then return." His team proceeds toward the aircraft and attaches the bomb. Sergeant 81 is shown approaching the glowing object. He soon realizes that it is actually the same aircraft he was sent to destroy. At that moment, he hears a loud explosion in the distance. His teammates have successfully detonated the aircraft. However, Sergeant 81 notices that the glowing object in front of him remains completely unharmed. It appears as if not even a single scratch has touched it. Suddenly, the mysterious object rises into the air and begins attacking them. It turns out to be a highly dangerous war machine. What the is that? Though, somehow, Sergeant 81 and a few other soldiers manage to survive the attack. Sergeant 81 climbs upward to retrieve the radio, but he soon realizes that the war machine has already destroyed it. At that moment, he notices one soldier who is still alive. The soldier is slowly crawling forward, trying to save himself, when suddenly the war machine appears in front of him. It is a robotic device that scans the soldier and immediately kills him. After witnessing this, Sergeant 81 quickly returns to his remaining teammates. He informs them that the flying machine has now started moving on its own and explains that it is a war machine designed to hunt humans and destroy them. He orders everyone to move down the cliff as quickly as possible, telling them to discard their weapons and descend using ropes. The weapons they are carrying have special training adapters attached to them. Because of this, they cannot actually fire the weapons since this mission was only part of their training. It was never meant to be a real combat mission. The soldiers throw away their guns and begin climbing down the ropes. Above, a soldier is seen holding the rope. Sergeant 81 is positioned below when his compass suddenly begins spinning rapidly on its own. He immediately realizes that the war machine is nearby, but before the last soldier can descend, the war machine scans him and kills him instantly. As a result, Staff Sergeant 7, who had come to assist them, falls from above. His leg is badly injured. Meanwhile, the war machine moves to the top of the cliff and begins scanning the entire area. The soldiers are hiding beneath a large rock, but unfortunately, 7's injured leg comes within the machine's scanning range. The war machine suddenly begins attacking them. They immediately run for their lives and manage to move out of its range. Now they are confused about where this machine actually came from. Some believe it could be a secret weapon created by Russia. Others think it might belong to China. But the truth is something entirely different. They continue moving forward while carrying 7 with them. Soon, they reach a river with an extremely strong current. Sergeant 81 risks his life by crossing to the other side of the river first. He ties a rope so the others can safely cross. As the soldiers begin crossing the river using the rope, the compass once again starts spinning rapidly. Suddenly, the war machine attacks again. The rope snaps under pressure, and all of them fall into the river and are swept away by the powerful current. The war machine also enters the water in an attempt to destroy them. To survive, the soldiers dive underwater and allow the current to carry them away from the machine. Their only goal now is to reach the camp as quickly as possible. Because of the fast river current, they eventually drift very close to the camp. Soon, they finally reach the location along with 7. But when they arrive, they discover that the camp no longer exists. All that remains is a pile of ashes. This means the war machine had already reached there earlier and killed everyone. It completely destroyed the entire base. Sergeant 81 carefully examines the area. He then tells his teammates that the war machine did not come from Earth. It came from the sky. He points toward a very high rock formation and explains that the object first struck that rock before falling into the river below. They had attempted to destroy it there, which is when it began attacking them. At that moment, one soldier remembers something. He says, "There has been news on television for a long time about an asteroid approaching Earth. I think this might be the same thing." Another soldier asks him what he means. Sergeant 81 replies, "He's right. Whatever that thing is, it is not from our world. It is an alien war machine. We must reach another base as quickly as possible so we can warn everyone." Nearby, they find an APC vehicle. It is heavily armored and can protect them from bullets and explosions. They decide that escaping in the APC will be their safest option and begin preparing it for departure. Suddenly, the compass starts spinning rapidly again. This means the alien war machine is close. All of them quickly climb inside the APC. One of their comrades runs to collect the ammunition boxes. While he is gathering the bullets, The alien war machine scans him and immediately attacks and kills him. However, before dying, the soldier throws the ammunition boxes towards Sergeant 81, who catches them and quickly climbs inside the APC. They immediately start driving away from the area, but the alien war machine continues chasing them and begins dropping a barrage of explosive attacks on their APC. Despite the intense assault, they somehow manage to survive and continue moving forward. They even begin firing back at the war machine while escaping. However, it is so advanced that their attacks have no effect on it. Then the war machine fires a powerful laser toward them. Sergeant 81 quickly observes the surroundings and notices a large cliff ahead. He fires at the cliff, causing part of it to collapse. The falling rocks block the path of the war machine. Sergeant 81 then tells his companion to stop the APC, but his companion has already been killed. As a result, the APC loses control and crashes. Sergeant 81 looks around and realizes that almost all of his teammates have died. In the distance, he sees the alien war machine communicating with others from another world. Suddenly, Sergeant 81 notices that his injured teammate, Staff Sergeant 7, is still alive. He feels relieved and happy to see him alive. He helps 7, and the two continue moving forward together. Later that night, they stop to rest. 7 says to Sergeant 81, "I served in the army with your brother. He always wanted to become a ranger. He even had the same tattoo on his arm as yours, but one day I learned that he had died." Sergeant 81 replies, "My brother had only one dream, that both of us would become rangers together. That is why I'm here to fulfill his dream. I want to complete this program at any cost because it was my brother's dream. Only after fulfilling his dream will I finally be able to sleep peacefully." 7 looks at him and says, "You truly are a real ranger." At that moment, Sergeant 81 notices smoke rising from the war machine in the distance. This means the machine has a ventilation system to release heat. Sergeant 81 immediately forms a plan. He tells 7, "I have an idea. Stay here and wait for me." Sergeant 81 then moves toward a nearby rock blasting site. The area contains several construction machines, including JCB bulldozers and blasting equipment. Sergeant 81 fires a flare gun into the sky. The alien war machine detects the signal and quickly moves toward the location. However, Sergeant 81 has already planted several mines in the area. When the war machine arrives, the mines explode. A massive blast surrounds the alien machine. At that exact moment, Sergeant 81 arrives driving a JCB bulldozer. He pushes the war machine toward a cliff where a large rock crushing machine is installed. The crusher has a control panel positioned above it. By this time, the war machine begins overheating. To release the heat, it opens its ventilation system. Sergeant 81 had been waiting for this exact moment. He quickly activates the crusher using the control panel. This causes a large amount of small stones above the crusher to fall downward. Because the ventilation system is open, the stones are forced directly inside the war machine. Sergeant 81 continues pushing the war machine back as it tries to move away. At that moment, the war machine attacks the machine he is using and throws it towards Sergeant 81. But before it can fall on him, Sergeant 81 quickly jumps away and escapes. By this time, a large number of small stones have already entered the war machine through its ventilation system. Because of this, the machine begins to overheat rapidly. Within seconds, the war machine explodes right in front of Sergeant 81. After the explosion, several bombs from inside the machine start falling out. Sergeant 81 realizes that another massive explosion is about to occur. Without wasting time, he quickly runs away from the area to save his life. Soon after, the bombs explode behind him. Sergeant 81 then returns to 7 and lifts him onto his shoulders. He begins carrying him back toward the camp. Earlier, he had tried to save his brother in the same way but failed. That guilt has remained with him ever since. But now, by saving 7, he hopes to finally overcome that guilt. When he reaches the camp, his major and commander are shocked to see him alive. They immediately ask him if anyone else survived. Sergeant 81 replies, "No one survived except the two of us." The major then explains the truth about the asteroid seen in space. He reveals that it was actually part of an alien army. Scientists had attempted to destroy it by attacking and detonating it in space. However, the plan did not work. The fragments scattered and fell across different parts of the world. Now those alien machines have begun attacking the entire planet. Major military forces around the world are trying to destroy them. Unfortunately, even modern weapons are proving ineffective against these machines. The Major then asks Sergeant 81 how he managed to destroy such a powerful war machine without proper weapons. Sergeant 81 replies, "You once told me that every machine has a limit. In the same way, this machine also had a limit. When it overheats, its ventilation system opens automatically. If something blocks that ventilation from the inside, the machine overheats even more and eventually explodes." He then suggests spreading this information across the world so others can defeat the machines the same way. After this mission, Sergeant 81 is officially promoted to the rank of Ranger, fulfilling his brother's lifelong dream. "You are now one of us. Welcome to the regiment, Ranger. Your brother would be proud."